call this evening's meeting to order. Please let our minutes show that all of council is in attendance with the exception of, actually we're missing three. We're missing three right now. Okay. We still have quorum. Good. And also members of staff with us this evening. A thank you to the Waterville Community Hall for allowing us to have our council meeting here this evening. It's always a pleasure to get out and visit the different facilities in our community, so thank you to them. Item 3 is approval of the agenda for this evening.
I move that the agenda be accepted as it is presented.
Seconded, Councillor Witten.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Any question? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion is carried. Item 4 is approval of their minutes from our prior meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to approve those minutes as presented.
The seconder?
I'll second that.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Any question regarding the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your right hand. Motion is carried. Item 5 is declaration of conflict of interest. Anyone this evening feel that they are in conflict of interest? Okay, we will move on from there. Item 6, nothing for that. Okay, we'll move on then to our council reports, starting with our treasurer report with Tina Pelkey.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So we're doing the Treasury report as of September 23rd, reporting for August 31st results. So just a couple of items of note. We did get our actual ministerial order for our PMHP project that is well underway. Now we have our official borrowing in place. The biggest thing we're working on now, of course, is the 2026 budget, which will be presented the first round, which gives us some options, will be presented at the Finance and Infrastructure Committee meeting tomorrow. Give us an idea of some thoughts at 2 o'clock, yes, and presented to council in full after we get our assessment numbers, which are projected to be mid-October. So we'll have the final round ready for them. So that is progressing well. As far as our results go for August, we did make some inroads into our deficit position, inroads of $70,000 approximately. The biggest part of this, of course, was the $24,000 that we received in revenue for the sale of the backhoe and the proceeds from crime grant that we received between the two of those. But I will remind you, some of this is timing differences that do happen. So we actually made the motion in September to move the $20,000 from the backhoe over into a reserve. So that will come back out for sure. Of note, from recreation, we had an additional $3,400 in Fun Park this year. So that was good. That'll hopefully translate back into earnings for next year for sure. Expense savings were the other side of this, about $49,000. And again, some of this is due to timing of purchases that will come later in the year, so we have to be mindful of what comes and goes.
Can you give us an example?
So one thing that does happen is we have expenses like engineering that we are currently paying for both the Hartland Waterfront Revitalization Project, for our PMHP project. Those types of bills come in, we have to pay them, we have to show the receipt, then we can actually apply to get those dollars back. Now at the end of the year, if this was the end of the year, we accrue all of those puts and takes and make sure that everything balances so that our revenue and or expense for 2025 is all recognized in 2025. Don't do that month to month, because that's just a lot of accounting for no real good reason at the end of the year. Like I said, at the end of the year, we do make sure that kind of thing is happening. So the other part of it, so I did put approximately $9,000 will stay on the bottom line as expenses. So we also had some expense savings in short-term interest. And the biggest reason that we're saving that is because we were able to actually save some dollars on funding for, I'm trying to think which one of our projects, I gotta make better notes. But we are not paying any short-term interest on our PMHP currently, and hopefully if we get everything turned over the way we hope, we've asked them for invoices, we will not have to pay any interest on our PMHP project. The other thing that we were looking in 2025 is that by now we might have been into our waterfront revitalization project. We have not started that project yet because we do not have full funding authority at this point. So once we know that, then I don't anticipate that we'll be paying any interest dollars now in 2025. So those numbers will move forward to 2026. On the water and sewer side, we are still showing in a surplus position towards the end of the year. We still project forward, there's about $100,000 in expenses to come our way for things that we allow for based on our previous 8 months. So we're also taking into account some of the bad luck that we have seen with water breaks in 2025, but hoping that not all of that materializes. And we have made our budgeted reserve transfers in our utility budget. We have not done that yet for our general budget. We will see how things look at the end of September. So far, September is looking pretty positive. So if we continue to see improvements, I think it is important that we start looking at some of those budgeted reserve transfers that we really need for capital projects that we have coming down the pipeline in the next 2 to 3 years. So, cash flow wise, improvement there. We still managed to be able to carry about a month in excess cash, which is good for sure. We have closed the complex account now, complex bank account, so everything is now moved over into our general operating account. I did meet with our auditor one morning this week, and we are about to close down all of the accounting in the complex, move it all over into our general budget, so that now we will just be moving forward with just 2 pieces of the puzzle. We'll have our general operating and our utility operating, and those will be the only funds that we are looking at. So that cleanup will be finished. So that is the end of my report. If you have any further questions, I'll attempt to answer them.
Any questions for our treasurer? Okay, thank you so much. Item 2 is our Public Works report with Judge Giberson.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Just a few highlights until we get a chance to read it over. With the PMHP project, Dexter's will be on site tomorrow to start the milling. Hoping to see that be about a 2.5 day project, and then paving to commence as soon as they're done. So sometime Wednesday next week, we should be done mill, pave, and the shouldering on the 105 section that we are doing this year. Winter sand, we've been in talks, and we have finally come to an agreement with one supplier, $20 a ton for 300 tons, plus $200 for the or $2,000, sorry, for the excavator, and salt runs about 175 a ton. We're gonna put about a half a ton per load onto that pile, so, give you a rough idea of what we're spending on winter sand. Water and sewer, the Dillon report still consumes a tremendous amount of time from day to day. On the phone with Dominic of Dillon Consulting quite a bit. For town properties and green spaces, I want to highlight the library windows. So John and Betty Lou Craig have been at myself and I believe Julie most of the summer about the windows, and we were kind of up in the air about whether or not with the energy audits if we were going to be replacing windows or not. So we had held that off. We decided to bench that for right now, so we give them the go ahead. They came in with their painters and painted the wood parts of the windows.
And all the windows, yeah?
Every window in the library, and they painted the doors as well.
Very nice.
Yeah, it looks very good. And then we stepped in today and cleaned all the cobwebs and cleaned the windows up and whatnot. So kind of spruced up the building quite a bit, and the library staff is very pleased. So big thank you to John and Betty for that. Shop and maintenance, winter gear, I would say we're ready with the exception of the blade of the payloader. The work has been done on the 2017 Freightliner. Everything's ready to go with that. We just need to hook up the blades when the time comes.
10 years is an awful long time to keep the Dodge, isn't it?
Yep. But it is.
But it needs to be traded, doesn't it? It needs to be
And
replaced.
we're in works with that. Been talking to different dealerships and budgeting for that replacement, hopefully next year. With the day in Ross Community Center, I want to talk about the pool. So we've drained and cleaned the pool. Unfortunately, I haven't managed to get the plumber there yet, but he is coming to, we want to pressurize the two main lines that go under the pool to see what it is, if they are one of our problems. However, we did find in draining it, the acoustic that we put on this spring, well, we've done it over the last 2 years, we've done 2 different applications of it. And I'm not sure of the exact spot, whether it was this year or last year, but we found a spot about 4 to 6 inches long that is opened up again. So we do suspect that that is where our leak is, but we are going to investigate these lines while we have the time this fall. It's been brought to my attention that Saniway, a company out of Grand Falls, now may offer, I don't mean to jump the gun here, but they may offer pipe relining, so they actually, we wouldn't have to dig, they can put a new liner inside of the pipe that's there. So we're gonna investigate on that and see if we can do something that way rather than jackhammering the pool floor up. And then, other thing I'd like to highlight for this is the aerial lift. We rented a lift from ATOT Construction. Just went around, we needed to hang banners and flags at center ice. One of our dehumidifiers we needed to do some work on, and it's kind of up in space from the ceiling, so it was nice to have that. And then while it was there, we did a wholesale project of everything we could with it. We did all the windows, lights of that building, and then trimmed a bunch of trees. There's been a lot of complaints over the summer that some of the trees were shading the outfield on the Tracy Field, which is our only baseball field with lights.
Is that the field named after our mayor?
I think it was Tracy before that. we can change now. No, so anyway, we made sure to get all the things done up while we had a machine there to do so.
Question,
Yes,
has the issue with the heat inside the building been resolved as far as the computer system is gone?
yes,
Okay, so you're able to get into the system and change the,
yes, we're able, we are still learning, I will say, I've gotten into it. I did change the room that you folks play cards in, but I haven't done a lot with it yet, just because I haven't had time to sit down and really, I did have the training with the folks that give it to us.
has the password been reset and everything?
Yep.
Yep, and actually we can install it on more than one computer, so we've installed it on 2 laptops at this point.
That's great. Any questions for Joe? Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
We will move now to our communications and development report, and our director, Michelle Derrah, is with us this evening, but I believe that you're going to present that to you.
So I'll just pull out some highlights from Michelle's report. She had some posts on a juvenile bald eagle that was around the covered bridge. Actually, she had a really cute one that she posted where he was sitting at a picnic table, looked like he was having a snack behind CK's, and got lots of public engagement on that one. She focused on promoting the Urban Rural Rides program with the RSC for transportation for seniors for medical appointments. And we also put out that they're always looking for volunteers. There's currently only one driver in the Hartland area that's signed up to do that, so we put out some posts to notify people that if they're looking to volunteer, that's a great way to help out. We did learn that the Covered Bridge Chips announced in the Telegraph Journal that they will not be rebuilding their manufacturing facility in Waterville. But last we've heard is that they plan to do a gift shop in some type of tourist center there, so hopefully we'll see that come to life. The October newsletter she's included in the package is ready to go to print. With Canada Post, we're not sure how that will be delivered this time, whether it will be virtual or emails, or if we'll print so many and possibly see if we can partner up with the local grocery stores and pharmacies and maybe leave some on the counters to get them out to residents. We worked on a greenhouse project under the New Horizon Grant for Seniors. So we have a shelf ready, project ready, but we've delayed that for a year or so, just so that will line up with some other senior incentives that we have going on. We had the 125th Covered Bridge Anniversary event planned for New Brunswick Day 2026. So the grant has, actually it's, I believe, on the agenda for approval, ready to go in to be submitted for approximately $20,000 to go towards that event. And as part of that event, we were hoping to get, there's fireworks, children's activities, and hoping to get a piece of art installed on the public library, so.
How much did you say that grant was for?
$20,500 is what the ask is. We also are applying to Proceeds of Crime again for a solar rapid flashing beacon crosswalk, which will be installed on Rockland Road close to the nursing home, so it'll help with kids crossing there. There was 4 permits issued in August for $100,000 total. I'm still waiting on final drawings on the Pavilion Park project, ongoing work on the Belterre and Rockland Road projects. We're getting closer, but it's a slow haul. And tourism and events, there was a balloon festival, and we actually had a balloon land in the town of Hartland, so it was exciting.
Yeah.
And that's it for Michelle's report.
Poor navigator.
We will now have our fire report with one of our fire department officers, Giberson.
I will apologize, this tonight. But, so I won't really speak much to it, other than, we have learned some things. The very first one there, the forest fire and brush fire during burn ban. It didn't fall under DNR after amalgamation because it wasn't in the woods. It was careful to say that it was a farmer clearing the ground. So it was no longer in the woods, even though it was woods burning. So we've learned who to contact and what to do with that, so.
And is that the one that wasn't in
And it
our
wasn't,
municipality,
yes.
but it
Sorry,
was
yeah.
under our fire, yeah,
It
so.
is.
Firefighting?
No, it was Mount Pleasant. So,
Okay.
but, yeah. And other than that, it's been pretty, regular, I guess.
Question still in effect for that?
It's been off, it was lifted last week for a while, right now, we're back in red. The whole province was red as of yesterday. I see that, I looked, during supper, I looked, the upper end of the province is in green, but we're still in red right now, currently.
Question.
Yes,
There's still 3 false alarms on there amounting to $600-700.
800.
What, is there a debit and a credit in there? Why?
I can't speak to that because I'm not the one with the authority to do something about that, but, yeah.
So just to dovetail on that question, has there, to your knowledge, has there been any fines assessed?
No, we have not,
Or any other
we have
fines?
not yet given any fines with that new, with the exception of Hillcrest. Was anything done there? That's the only one, I guess, that I would know of. But to my knowledge, no.
So even with the burn ban on, there's been no fines?
Right.
Just to refresh my memory, Courtyard Development has had numerous false alarms and it hasn't been rectified yet as to what's wrong with their system?
No. So they are working on it.
Seems they've been working on it for
They've
6 months or a year.
Yep. So, I'm the wrong one to talk to, I do apologize on that.
That's okay. I do have a follow-up question to Deputy Mayor's in regard to fines.
Yes.
So where it's a provincial ban, does the, is there any way that there can be any action on that?
So that's what we tried to do, so we we're not able to find them, because yes, it's our fire area, but it's not our municipality. We were then in Carlton North, who is working on their fire bylaw.
So
so-
none of
If I may, Madam Mayor, because Jed may not know this, so we've also been reaching out through ELG. So because I sent an email to ELG and said, we're in no man's land here. So our fire boundary, their bylaw. So we can't do anything because it's their bylaw that applies. So I have pushed this forward, I have gotten some response, and then we went to DNR with it, because they sent me that way, but because it wasn't in the woods, there is no jurisdiction that DNR has for actually the field. So what we're trying to find out is, this is a loophole that exists where there is a fire boundary and a municipal boundary that applies. So we're trying to get ELG to say, okay, how do we narrow up this gap? So we've got people working on it so that we can try to figure out the next time this happens, or is how to get rid of the loophole, because right now there is a loophole.
Okay. But there were none actually within our municipality.
So this is the burn ban, yeah.
Yeah, no, there was no fires, like there's vehicle fires here, but nothing was lit.
Okay.
It shows one rubbish fire in the woods in a burn ban.
Is that on Porter Road?
It says Rockland.
Number 98.
217 Rockland Road. I'm not sure on that one.
Okay.
Says RCMP also advised, so. But no, there would have been no fine given with that.
Thank you. And then we will have our CAO report, please.
I just have a quick, actually, the rec department has done a
Oh, yes.
report.
Okay, I just didn't see if there's.
Yeah, no, that's okay, because I wasn't sure how to list it, so I just thought I'd include it in with mine.
Sure.
So they, as always, they're still continuing their podcast. Had a successful summer with ActiveNet for online registration. Learning lots and lots more to learn, but so far so good. They just had the Spud Cup and raised $2,200 with 9 teams participating. And we actually had a donation and a first pitch done there from Adam Chamberlain, Chamberlain Group.
Chamberlain Wealth Management.
Chamberlain Wealth Management. So he made a donation to the complex for $7,500. So we arranged for a little social media photo during that. They have a haunted trail scheduled for October 25th. Getting the arena all cleaned up and the ice plant ready to start up. Lots of ice bookings. They're probably more than halfway booked for their ice now. There was 2 grants applied for, community development grant for winter program expansion, and I think they got that for $29.48. And they received $1,700 grant to purchase some curling materials, so.
How's the canteen doing? Are they doing okay? Or are they having problems?
I think they're doing okay.
Okay.
And they make a mighty fine burger.
I just wondered about the amount of people that are in there that are utilizing it. Are they finding it slow or
They found it slow over the summer, but,
watch out?
yeah, like she knows that it's going to get busy. But there was businesses that supported, like I think Valley Equipment employees went there, they picked one day a week and they went there and had lunch. And probably some Old Dutch too. I think she had good support that way. It's just slower time of year. Yeah. My report. Got everything all mixed up here. So, clerk duties, did the clerking duties, administration duties, did some restructuring internally after the job role changes, have that all narrowed down, still working on our HR manual, but that's close to being finalized. Working on the waterfront planning and development agreements. I have some holdups there. We have to jump through a few more hoops on that one, but we're getting there. Funding applications have been submitted, I guess Michelle mentioned that in hers, for the anniversary and the solar crosswalk beacon. Treasurer Pelkey and I are working diligently on budgeting and we have nightmares about numbers in our heads. There was some IT protocols and things that were set up and changed, some password changes, and as I mentioned, we got the controls for the heat for the complex set up on a couple of different laptop units, so that's good.
Just a question, Julie, about, on the budget process.
Yep.
So, in the past, we weren't completely sure what our assessment number would be, but we made an educated guess. Have you had an opportunity to do that yet?
We received a number last Friday to give us a fairly good idea of what, I think it was 75% is what they had said of what our total potential could be. But yeah, Tina's used the base amount, because they told us the base amount was 50,000, right?
I think you're getting confused. So, he's asking assessment.
Oh,
Okay, and you're talking fiscal reform, but what you're saying is exactly right, and there have been a lot of numbers thrown your way.
I can appreciate what you're going through.
Yes, so, but to answer your question, Deputy Mayor, what we have done is we've taken the building permits that we have received,
Year to date.
so year to date, and we have that, and I actually went through last year, what the building permits were versus what the assessment came in at, and I did a little comparison, and it's about 60% on the residential side and only about 30% on the commercial side. So we fed that into our neat little formula calculator we have for assessments. And then the other thing that we have looked at, or that I looked at, is anybody that's on what it's called HDIP, or the Housing Development Incentive Program. So anybody that is in year 1 or year 2 of that, like academic developments, for example, so they're about to become fully taxed, and we know what percentage has been discounted on their taxes. So we've added that back in because those will be fully available to us. So far, that number is about $50,000. It's not a huge gain for us, but there is some gains. So, and then anything that is sold in our area will also affect it, but I didn't go that far with it for
So
sure.
from 10,000 feet, is it above last year's number?
No. Our number last year was approximately $250,000 that we got in an assessment increase alone. And this year, because assessments are frozen, the only thing that we're going to see for an increase is anything that had an error in it, anything that was, like I said, HDIP, and I point to Lee, sorry.
No, I don't mean an increase. I understand that there won't be an increase because of the asset freeze.
Right.
But without an increase, where does our number compare to last year?
Which number?
Assessment number. So
That's
we'll
exactly
be,
what I was explaining.
we'll be using last year's assessment number?
We use last year's assessment number, plus these are the things that we can add to it that we currently know about. And they had said, I believe October 12th was the date they actually put out there. I've said
But will
mid-October.
that drive us slightly above fiscal 2024 from the assessment perspective on rate?
Slightly, yeah,
Slightly.
about $50,000 is what we calculated so far, that we should see as an increase. But again, these are, I believe the commercial side seems to be subject to more differences from what is applied for on a building permit to what comes out actually as a tax assessment.
Not enough to put $500,000 in reserve.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I remember when we first got married, didn't have any money, and
Know what that's like.
we ended up building a garage, and the assessment didn't go up at all. And then we spent like $800 paving the driveway, and assessment went up $5,000.
Caught up on the garage.
I guess.
But also to CAO Stockford's point, we did get numbers, our preliminary numbers for the previous 3 years on our fiscal capacity number, which will be higher. Looks like it will be higher. They're telling us not to divulge what the numbers are. But we are fairly close to what our equalization grant was for last year. So, and then they will be adding to that what they consider the 2026 portion of that fiscal capacity fund, and that's the numbers that is supposed to come to us in mid-October. So that will add, those are
Thank you.
numbers that will add to
Thank you
us.
for the budget information. I will caution you that the President of the United States has said that Tylenol could cause autism.
Yes,
Take a lead.
please, take a lead.
It lasts 12 hours too.
There's a lot of wisdom at that end of the table.
You should have contacted Tina before you paid your yard.
Didn't know Tina yet. I wish I did.
I was gonna ask if you got a building permit, which time?
Okay, so I believe that's the end of our reports. Thank you to everyone who was able to present this evening. We'll move on now to item 9, which is in regard to business from our prior meeting. 9.1 is street streetlight request for Glass Rockland Road intersection.
So there really isn't a picture's worth 1,000 words, basically, that is what they did at the end. On each side of the road, there's a post where the stop sign is on the opposite side, and they just put the black and
Kind of
yellow
a sign
message.
that there's no streetlight going in, yeah.
Right, yeah, there's no street light yet.
Okay. And I guess these
Is,
next.
Is that illuminous? Does it show up in the dark?
Yes.
Yes, yeah,
Is it their call?
yeah.
Yeah, so no one's gonna go in the ditch across the road. They still could hit mid-road though, okay.
So how did we get away with the streetlights in
All right,
Albright Court, exit 173? But we weren't able to do anything for Glass Road. Pardon me?
We just agreed to pay for them because the commercial zone.
We can't agree to pay for it in a residential zone?
I
Lake-
think we had talked about that, but then
Did-
we thought every intersection we'd
intersection.
set precedents
DTI
and
cleared it
everybody
over
would
there in
want.
All Right Court. They didn't clear it here.
Not that they wouldn't clear it, I think it's, it was a decision we just made at the table. That
We'd set precedent.
that precedent.
I believe the next few items have your name tag next to them, so I'm just going to, at this point, let you take over from 9.2 to 9.4, and then again from 10.1 and 2, okay?
Well, the draft, bylaw, actually, if you decide to go with the third reading, yeah.
Okay.
We did the first two readings at the last meeting, and the change again is just to reiterate on the fire ban and the process that we follow if there's a provincial fire ban.
Okay, so if council is ready to pass this amended bylaw, the third reading is there.
I'd like to make a motion to proceed with the third reading of title of bylaw number D-07.02 relating to the fire production and prevention as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion has been moved and seconded for the third reading. Any question? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your right hand. Motion is carried, and so that is for bylaw number D-07.02 relating to fire protection and prevention. Item 9.3.
And the parking lot agreement, I think I included an agreement in all of the packages. I believe the holdup was they didn't have any board meetings over the summer, so they were a little later getting it reviewed, but they have signed it. It was approved, I guess, in closed session with council before, so just to ratify the parking lot agreement at this point. There's been no change. We agreed to sweep the parking lot, the paved parking lot in the spring for them, and a set fee for them to let us use the south side parking lot for parking for the farm market and the north side parking lot for the boat rent station and to park trucks and trailers for anyone using the boat launch.
I'll make a motion to ratify the parking lot agreement between Hartland and the Hartland Baptist Church, which grants Hartland the use of the church parking lots for both the new boat rent station to be located in the north parking lot and the parking lot for the Hartland Farm Market in exchange for a set fee and sweeping in the south parking lot each spring.
That's a mouthful.
Seconded, Councillor Britton.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Any question regarding this motion?
Question.
Yes.
Just to clarify, the ownership of the north parking lot is the United Baptist Church?
It is, there's a line, and actually we figured out they own part of that, and some properties are encroaching on, but they do own that gravel side.
If I
So
may,
like below the depth?
Yeah.
yeah, if I may, when we filled that in years ago, we filled to the town's property line.
So the dip is to the town, so there's probably 30 or 40 feet there that belong to the church.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, probably 50 feet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any other question regarding this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your right hand. Motion is carried. And item 4 is the speed limit concerns on Route 104.
So, and there's no motion for this, it's just to bring it to council's attention because it was on a previous agenda. I did receive an email back from DTI, and their safety engineers were there and did a visual site inspection and determined the speed limit is appropriate. And now they are stating that the business is in the right of way, they're right of way without a permit, so they're going to investigate that a little further.
But that has nothing to do with us, does it?
Just, following up on some
Yeah.
concerns and questions.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great, thank you for that. So we'll move on to new business, and item 10.1 is for the covered 125th Covered Bridge anniversary.
Bear with me here.
And you said that we'll do that celebration during New Brunswick Day?
Yes, yeah. So, Hartland Covered Bridge was opened in 1901 with an uncovered structure and was covered in 1922. So with our 125th celebration anniversary next year, we've prepared an application for provincial funding. The project cost would be $89,700. Council approved an application for the federal government in May, requesting $52,900 for the event, and the new provincial commemorations and celebrations grant application would request $20,500. So we've already been approved for $52,900, and now we're requesting $20,500. A balance would come from the town's budget, in-kind support from local individuals and organizations, and a cash contribution from the town of $8,500.
So, we're gonna ask for a grant for 25,
No,
20,000.
we've already got
20,500.
Yeah.
But the town is gonna give $8,500 toward that?
but it's budgeted, correct?
It's,
Will be.
it's a budgeted amount.
So the 8,500 is gonna be budgeted.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the provincial commemoration and celebration grant application requesting $20,500 for the 125th anniversary celebration of the Covered Bridge in 2026.
Seconded.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Any question? I just wanted to comment that, hearing the news of John and Betty Lou and their donation with that, and knowing that our community steps up quite often, and especially for a celebration like this one, it's just nice to know that we live in that sort of community, so.
And the solar rapid flashing.
Any other question or comment?
I got carried away.
That's it. Hearing none. All those in favor raise their right hand. Motion is carried. Thank you.
So we have applied to the proceeds of crime for the solar flashing rapid beacon crosswalk. We actually had letters of support from the RCMP because we've been sending our data to them on the Rockland Road and around the schools. So they sent a letter of support, the nursing home did, and the school did as well. So, and the actual cost is $9,058.22.
Gee, I'd go paint it for less than $9,000.
It's the solar, you push a button and it's a solar, flashing.
Okay,
Do you know how to make that?
no. I'll pass.
I'll make a motion to approve the provincial proceeds of crime funding application requesting $9,058.22 to purchase one solar rapid flashing beacon crosswalk system for the Rockland Road and Hawthorne Street intersection.
I'll second that.
Motion has been moved and seconded.
So I should have read the motion before I opened my mouth.
But it wouldn't have been nearly as funny.
I still like to see you out there with a crosswalk sign.
Oh, goodness. Any question or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion is carried. Item 10.3 is regarding solid waste management. So, a couple of weeks ago, our treasurer and I had the opportunity to sit down with our local sanitation company and have a presentation. And I've asked our treasurer if she would give a brief outline of what we learned that day.
So we saved the most expensive piece for last.
Yes.
So, I'll give you the highlights, because the actual report was included in your council package. But the biggest thing that this is all about is the provincial government mandated by 2028, 2029, that organics will be part of the whole solid waste family. So you have solid waste recycling, and now you'll have organics, or soon we'll have organics. So our recycling, of course, was moved to circular materials last year. They are looking to add more recycling opportunities for people. So basically looking to increase the recycling pickups by 1 per month, kind of thing. There has been talk around the RSC table of moving from 40 garbage pickups to 52, so that everybody has weekly pickups, particularly in the summertime. So this all leads to a number of questions and how best to orchestrate all of this, for sure. So, of course, our provider for all of these pickups is J.S. Bellis. And in order for J.S. Bellis to have the proper equipment here when we need it, they have a 12-month lead time on equipment, like most companies do these days. Anyway, so they have some decisions to make, and they presented to Circular Materials 5 different options. But the option that makes the most sense is currently they have 5 trucks in our area that operate 5 days a week and are 100% utilized. So anybody that knows anything about utilization, when you're at 100%, you got no room for error. So if anything goes wrong, if they have weather, if they have breakdowns, it causes havoc, for sure. So they have gone back to their drawing board, and they've looked at how best to increase, to look after recycling, to look after solid waste, and to best prepare for organics that are coming down the pipeline. To do that, they have presented an increase of 3 trucks, which will take them down to a 94% utilization process. But these 3 trucks are all automated arms. So what they are saying is automated arm is all about making sure that you have automated bins, similar to the recycling bins that we currently have, the blue bins. So there are 2 pieces of this puzzle to move forward. One is to take us from 40 pickups to 52 pickups of garbage. Because what they are looking at is you'll have weekly garbage, semi-monthly, they are saying bi-monthly, but it's semi-monthly pickups of your recycling. And then eventually, when organics comes on board, it will be 1 week garbage, 1 week organics, 1 week garbage, 1 week organics, because the organics tend to be the heavier part of your garbage. So, plan 1 is, the RSC is looking for a mandate to move forward with the weekly garbage pickups so that J.S. Bellis can plan accordingly. The cost for us to move to weekly garbage pickups hasn't been entirely fed to us yet, but it's about 1/3 of our collection budget is what we can look at. and, which represents about $90,000 a year for the town of or the municipality, I shouldn't say the town, municipality of Hartland. That's a third of our collection budget. But part of our collection budget includes bulky pickups, so they're looking at ways that they are gonna be able to continue to do the bulky pickups because the sidearm trucks are a little bit different than the backload trucks that pick up the bulky items. And we also have 2 front load bins that are located up at the complex. So they are gonna feed us those numbers so that we can get more exact. But at this point in time, we are looking to add to our 2026 budget half a year of this $90,000. Because they said the earliest that they could get this rolling would be July, so we're looking for $45,000 for 2026. The next piece of this puzzle comes in 2027, when we actually have to purchase the bins. So if we did it the same way as they did last time, the RSC would actually take on the actual purchase and financing of the bins. It would be rolled out to the municipalities over a 5-year time frame. They are looking at using some of their RSSF, and don't ask me what that stands for, but their funding model that they're getting from the province is called RSSF. They are looking perhaps 20% of that cost will come through this RSSF funding. So the bins themselves will add another $25,000 in cost for 5 years. So this is
25 a year for 5 years?
yes.
The unfortunate part is these are provincially mandated, can't even say options, these are provincial mandates. So there are some lights at the end of the tunnel. If you think about the tipping fees for your garbage can be reduced if we as people, I'm gonna say not just our municipality, but we as humanity, start recycling more, and we're not putting items that could be recycled in our blue bins and not in our garbage bin. That saves in tipping fees if we start doing that properly. Organics, I've been collecting my organics and giving them to local, at this point, to local farmers for their animals. So I collect it in a bucket, they pick them up, they bring the bucket back, that sort of things. There are ways that we can creatively get rid of organics, again, because they are so heavy, that don't go toward.
Aren't organics what you put in your compost pile?
Yeah,
Somebody feed a goat in the backyard.
Yeah. So basically all of your refuse, I mean, you can get some handy dandy containers that sit on your counter that take everything from your napkins to the bones from your T-bone steak and break it down overnight, and it comes out of dust that you sprinkle in your garden. They come at an expense, but it's another way of doing things if you have a passion for recycling and composting and that sort of thing. But there are some things that we can do to help our situation by taking a greater responsibility and a bigger commitment to recycling. That does save money as well. So within this whole plan that they are looking at, there's going to be a big education piece on how to take care of your garbage, and giving the timelines of next July starting this other program, and in 2028 eventually all 3 pickups. So
Nova Scotia's been doing this for how many years?
Yes, we are 20 and 25 years behind the rest of the world when it comes to this, and there's really no reason except that we become so accustomed to being lazy with our garbage. So
To Mayor DeMerchant's point, our actual costs for disposal of garbage for 2025 is currently over. The diversion diversion rate that the RSC had been seeing for years was between 9 and 10%. We're down now that we're seeing between 5 and 6%. So what that means is cost for us, because people are putting more in their garbage, which is going into the landfill, which is costing us more dollars. The best way for us to save dollars and to reduce part of these costs is to recycle, compost, whatever we can do to keep everything out of the landfill. That is the cost that is truly going up, up, up.
I think, I heard today from Fred Thompson that it's actually less than 5% now. I think it was 4.93 or something like that. So we're doing a really poor job.
Poor job.
Really poor job. But nevertheless, these are things that we may not like the increases, and I know that they will work with whatever they can do to bring the cost down for the municipalities. But we don't really have much for options.
And the other side of this too, that I just found out more information today before this came out, the RSC is, actually it's Circular Materials, are putting on a course on October the 8th for how we can move some commercial enterprises and our apartment owners into recycling. So currently, they don't have the opportunity to recycle unless they choose to. So this is another way for us to encourage recycling, so there'll be information coming down the pipeline on that, and they have to sign up by October 31st, so we need more information on that as well.
So the motion that is there, thank you for that, I appreciate your explanation. The motion that is there, well, there are a couple of options. If you'd like more information before we pass the motion, then that's something that we could do as well, but what our treasurer has explained to you is the current situation, so I'll leave that with you, council.
What other information are you gonna gather in the next 2 weeks?
We will have firmer numbers from JSFLS. I was talking with Tim Smith today, and he is going to get us closer to what our real number might be for collections.
There's no
For sure.
numbers in that motion, so.
No.
Can you get
It's more of a, at this point, the RSC is just asking if council supports moving forward.
Because they'd like to have all the municipalities on board, because it will be better numbers for us if we're all on the same page.
Has the Regional Services Commission talked about things like the lifespan of the garbage can? Like, we all got those blue ones,
Yes.
and they've held up really well.
I
I
have
think
that
they're probably
somewhere.
gonna be around longer
So,
than you are.
Those bins are going to continue to be used.
Yeah.
Eventually, there is a thought that if you're, well, there's a couple of thoughts. What they're trying to get away from with these new trucks, with the arm, it's very difficult to keep a driver in these trucks for two reasons. One is that if they're out pulling on garbage, their bodies are wearing down, it's not efficient time-wise, and it's really hard to keep people in those jobs because it's so physically demanding if they're out manually putting garbage in the trucks.
Stinks a little too.
But the physical demands it's really big on their bodies, so they don't keep drivers for a long span of time. These trucks would eliminate having to get out of a vehicle. So it's safer, it's more efficient time-wise. So there's a cost of the trucks and all of that comes into all of this, but it's probably the best way to go. The second part is that they want people to go to actual containers that the arms can take. So all the little bins and freezers and whatever else people put at the end of the yard to collect their garbage, they don't want those anymore. So if you don't have an existing garbage can that can be lifted in, they're going to be promoting that as well. So they'll roll out new bins for people's yards to be used, as opposed to other forms of, well, no bags and that sort of thing, so.
The problem with having those, like, are these bins gonna be able to be moved? once, like, are you gonna be able to move these bins?
Well, they'll be rolling, just like
It's
you're
just like a
doing.
little
Just like
bit,
you're
like
doing.
I was gonna say, because putting them out by the road in our area, they just get run over by the
No,
plow
no,
truck.
they'll be rolling bins. There is talk of them being, is it 240, Tina?
Yes,
240, where your recycling bin now is 360.
correct.
So they would be taking the garbage to 240, which again promotes putting less garbage in your can, recycling, composting the way we should. So there's been a lot of thought and a lot of discussion, but we're getting to the place now where we're not really gonna have a choice as to how we collect our garbage anymore. So,
I could keep it year-round and then just set it out for big garbage pickup day.
you could, but I don't know what would happen on that day.
I see.
But you could try. It could be the example of how not to do it.
I would make a motion to approve Western New Brunswick Service Commission request to move to 52 garbage pickups and 12 recycle pickups annually for our zone.
Do we have a seconder? Seconding doesn't mean that you approve. We'll just go from there.
Pardon me?
Seconding the motion doesn't mean that you necessarily like the idea, but it will allow us to go to questions.
Well, it's gonna come to us eventually anyway, so I mean, we might as well make the motion.
I'll second that.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
Question,
Yes.
what's wrong with the 12 monthly blue bin pickups and the reduction from 52 to 40 for the other garbage? That system that we implemented however long ago seems to be working.
So what they're saying is that circular materials is coming to JS Bellis in the RSC, or the RSC through, JS Bellis is their provider, and the RSC is the zone grouping, but, they're saying that if they have more recycling pickups, that, there will be less going into the landfill. So basically, they're saying this is a way to improve recycling, is to have more opportunities for people to recycle because they're seeing recyclables in the garbage. So this is what they're saying. The other side of it is, part of this is all getting ready for 2028, 2029, when you are going to have compost or organics
Reasons.
that are thrown in the middle of this. So it's training people to get ready for the next step. It's like a phased-in approach to getting us to the goal line, which is 28, 29,
Yeah.
and getting these trucks ordered and in place. And it's all a stepping process over the next 3 years.
And they say that people, when their blue bins are full, they're then
Divert
taking
back
that.
to the garbage.
Right. But I can tell you from the last blue bin day, we had an excessive amount of cardboard for whatever reason. And my husband said, I can't fit that all in the bin, I don't dare leave it out because it was going to get soggy. And and I was told that we would be the exception. He dumped everything out of that blue bin and broke it all down properly so it could go in. So there is room to be had if you're not putting in whole boxes, if you're breaking
Thing
things down
is,
properly.
if you got a relative in Nova Scotia, go spend a week or a week and a half with them and put an organic in the wrong box and you'll find out why.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to add though, if this is being mandated provincially, then come budget time, we have to be fiscally responsible, and this isn't anything that we've overspent. So there needs to be to me, a pretty concrete, letter or something written to the community to say, if your taxes are going up, these are the 5 reasons.
Right.
And one of these 5 reasons is a solid waste management, or solid waste decision made by the province forced down on us. I believe that all these decisions we make, if they're out of our control, and it sounds like
policing.
just like policing,
Right.
we don't have a choice in this, and I don't mean to throw the
No.
passive words or throw anyone under the bus, but I'm saying, this is why when taxes go up, people call me, call us as councilors and say, well, why don't you manage better? Well, this is an example, we don't have a choice. So the communication of this, to me, and the province better be ready for it. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
And with that, needs to go, and I think something from either the province itself or through, and I know the Service Commission is planning to do that, but a big education campaign. Like, we need to understand why this is being done, not our decision, and explain all the ways that we can do it properly.
I'm not saying that any of us at this table would disapprove of better
Right.
recycling or I am saying that the population do not wanna pay more.
Nope.
And at what point is there going to be a little bit of a, maybe pressure to JS Bellis that maybe there's an efficiency gap here that they have to focus on too? Because there's other municipalities such as Pelkey who readily uses JS Bellis. So
Their own,
they have their own, so at what point does,
and they can go directly.
we've kicked that before, but I mean, when they're the only show in town and there's no competition, I find it aggravating sometimes just to accept what they say. I'm not saying they're not doing their best, but they don't have a lot of pressure to do better.
So one of the bigger things that will be coming down the road, when I went to the RSC before, the biggest things that they talked about is if we wear out the landfills that we have today, the cost of another landfill down the road, that's what you're trying to avoid, because the cost of landfills is astronomical. So we need to get everything going so that it's either being recycled or composted, because we can't afford to take on more landfills. And that's where we're headed if we don't do things today, not to be an alarmist type
No,
of
but
thing.
it's true.
But if we're not preparing today for the future is gonna cost us twice as much.
Well, and
When the
realistic.
burn ban lifts, will we burn the cardboard?
I do.
Did not hear in the
Or
news that there's no
burn
such thing as climate change?
Well,
That was
and
Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't wanna bring that name up.
This has to be,
It got colder.
the people, like, this has to be, like Councillor Patterson says, we have to make sure this gets out to the community, because it does no good for us to make the decision here and have somebody out in, you know, South Noseville that has no idea about this all of a sudden, you know.
oh, they know about recycling, you picked the wrong
That
area.
wrong area.
Anybody does.
Yeah, they do have a goat.
Main
back
Street.
right there.
Lower Main Street then.
No,
But society as a whole has contributed to this problem, I mean, that's
Sure
the
they have.
reason
Oh,
that
for
we
sure,
have to
yeah.
come up with a solution, and unfortunately, it's a pricey solution.
But maybe for our next newsletter, we should be like, our deputy mayor said, here's 5 reasons that your taxes are going, these are 5 main reasons, or something to allow the public, at least we're letting them know.
I think we've already done that in previous newsletters.
Well,
A year ago, 2 years ago.
no, but
this is
I know
something
what you mean.
This is $125,000 over 5 years is what
Yeah.
she's talking about,
plus the bins.
plus the bins.
Yeah.
And the guy that's tired about water and sewer going up every year, property taxes going up every year, assessment be damned. All right, now you're gonna raise my taxes to collect my garbage? That's not all, sir. You gotta spend $79 to get a new garbage can, or whatever the price is gonna
You
be.
gotta take your freezer out from in front of your yard.
Yeah. And it was so lovely too. It said, not garbage,
spelt wrong.
K-N-O-T.
Okay, so, are there any other questions or comments?
So if you got a head of lettuce that's past due, sitting in the fridge, and it's in a plastic container, what's gonna happen is, when you take that out, you're gonna look at it and say, okay, the plastic container goes in this bin, lettuce goes over here. Or goes to the goat and back there.
Your clean plastic container.
Yeah. That's what it's coming to. Arnie's dump is no more.
If there are no other questions or comments, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion is carried. Thank you.
Reluctantly.
Reluctantly, yep.
So the dates of our next meetings would be October 14th at 6:30 and October 26th at 6:30 as well, potentially at the Central Carlton.
Well, they had offered to host a meeting, and I
Okay.
didn't know if there was
Okay.
any interest to have.
Oh,
a
I think we
meeting
should.
or-
Yeah, Is everyone on board with that?
So what were those dates? The 14th,
Yeah.
14th?
and 2 weeks later
Oh, it's
should
the
be the
28th.
28th.
Should be the 28th.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you for catching that. Oopsie.
We could dress up for the 28th.
That's right, we could do a Halloween thing.
Halloween theme meeting.
Oh, no, it's
Let's
my
go as
birthday, you're not
farming,
doing
let's
anything on
go as
Halloween.
farming.
No,
October 14th, you said?
Garden.
I picked the wrong date,
You're still having it?
14th
What?
and 28th,
Birthday?
yeah.
I'm on.
I don't
I'll
want
make
this
the
next one,
14th
no.
on night shift.
maybe we can all wear garbage bags.
So you want me to,
Yeah, is everyone okay
Do
with
I
that?
look
Going
The
to nursing
14th or the
home?
28th?
28th will be the nursing home.
Okay, yep,
Yes?
as long as we all dress up.
Okay,
I'm going as Wayne.
I'm going as garbage bag.
I've been dressed up for 80 years.
okay. We would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, your worship.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded?